You know, Jen, the prosecution was blunt. Adam Montgomery didn't just try to dispose of his daughter's dead body. He tried to reduce her, tried to make her disappear, like she never lived here on Earth at all. Adam Montgomery failed. Harmony Montgomery is alive in this community. She won hearts, that smile, those glasses. She is alive in the hearts of this community.
Charging the defendant, Adam Montgomery, with the crime of second-degree murder. Do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
More than 2 years of investigation. Tireless law enforcement.
And it's not just the Manchester Police Department, although they have been lions.
Tenacious prosecutors.
Very, very grateful for the jury. This is a very, very difficult case in terms of the number of witnesses that had to testify, that they had to listen to.
An outraged community. Regular people who wanted to help.
And that community involvement has been tremendous. Residents in Manchester, but not even just Manchester. So there were residents all around the country who had different tips. We heard some of that at trial.
A passionate police department led by a chief who wears his heart on his sleeve. 50 to 60 officers were on the witness list, standing united with tears in their eyes.
Feel good for the team, honestly. Dedicated. It's hard. Still got to find her.
Justice served despite the defendant skipping out on the process. But this case is not closed. Still searching for harmony and accountability.
There's been some failures here, and those failures were not on the part of the Manchester Police Department.
But on this day, some satisfaction.
As a community, greater Manchester area, the state of New Hampshire, probably feels pretty good right now that we collectively as a state did our part on behalf of Harmony.
Adam Montgomery, alone in a prison cell in Concord tonight. His one constant supporter, his father, who put money into his prison account, who took his calls every time he called from prison, died over the weekend. Adam Montgomery will be sentenced in a few weeks to what Ben Agati calls a long, long time. Jen?
And Amy, as we know, Adam Montgomery did not appear in the courtroom for the extent of this trial. As for the sentencing, will he have to be there then?
Yes, so it's such a good question and one that everyone is asking. There is precedent for not showing up to your own sentencing. Dale Holloway did it. He was a no-show. But Ben Agati told us this afternoon there's an RSA on the books that he plans to use to try to convince the judge to mandate Adam Montgomery be in the courtroom for sentencing. A whole lot of people want to get a look at him when he gets his sentence handed down.
Okay, Amy, thank you. Harmony's biological mother saying the verdict does bring some peace, knowing that Adam Montgomery has been convicted now of murdering their daughter. WMUR's Tim Callery spoke with Crystal Sorey and what happens next for her.
And Jen, it was Crystal Sorey who first sounded the alarm about her missing daughter. And today, Manchester police gave her credit for putting Harmony on their radar, which they say ultimately led to today's guilty verdict.
It's been a long 4 years, waiting for this trial.
And after so much time, Crystal Sorey is relieved to finally hear the words she has been waiting for. Adam Montgomery guilty of murdering the daughter the two shared together.
I have a little bit of peace knowing that he's being held accountable because he thought he was so untouchable and that she didn't matter and nobody would miss her. And he was so wrong. He was so wrong.
Sorey alerted Manchester police about her missing daughter back in 2021 after Adam, who had custody of Harmony, cut ties with her. Manchester Police Detective John Dunleavy taking the concerns of a mother desperate to find her daughter up the chain at the department, which ultimately led to an investigation.
I never thought in my wildest dreams that a case like this would be something that I'd be assigned to. I just listened. Where other people might not have, I chose to listen to her and gather all the facts and try to understand the whole picture.
Sorey says she is grateful for law enforcement for not giving up on her or her daughter. She says despite the verdict, her fight for Harmony is not over.
No, I'm never going to give up until she's home and things are changed, because this can't keep happening.
And Detective Dunleavy says he has about 15 years left on the force, and he says he will spend every remaining day as a police officer searching for Harmony. Reporting live in Manchester, I'm Tim Callery, WMUR News 9.